Yeah. Well, okay, so this is the my deep run on MTT normal speed, I suppose it was. It's not a KO, just a freeze out, and I finished. I reached the final table in this game.
Okay,
So,
nice.
well, so this I think it's still an fold this deep UTG.
I would open it.
For sure.
I
I open
might.
it too.
I am almost sure this hand mixes open and folds. This is
Fold.
like, this is the floor, I think. At 100.
Yeah, I don't hate a fold, but I'm playing it.
No.
No,
I
it's
think
fine with our fold.
that's a good idea to get a feel of the table before you do open it. Put it that way.
I can get a feel of the table by watching people play too. I can fold hands to get a feel of the table, to be honest.
Yeah. Like if you'd only just sat down here, I'd be less like if I knew there wasn't much free betting going on, I'm definitely opening.
Oh,
Okay.
well, it seems like it's not an open.
Yeah, a lot of calling going on, and I
It's
still
not
don't.
an open, it's a fold.
It wants
It's a
to open
fold.
like 5% of the time, so.
Oh, I raised it.
Yeah, my PFA charts say 50-50.
Yeah. I would base it on the table type myself.
You would rather open
So-
suited hands, right? Correct?
Oh yeah, I'd rather open. I'll open wider if I don't think I'm not going to get free bet.
Depends if I get called a lot.
You wanna open suited nines, offsuit queens.
Yeah. But if the table's real tight, Louis, I know you're opening wider.
Oh, I might.
Yeah, but that's not three betting only. Yeah, it's also calling.
You can limp that. You can limp call here.
Well, I remember from the joint little tournament masterclass, he advises to play small blind, only suited connectors, something like this, but not
I don't
suited
know about
gappers.
suited gappers though.
Oh, so never mind. Someone opened. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would fold.
Easy.
Yeah.
It's a fold.
I think suited connectors rather than suited gappers, huh?
Well,
Connect-
I
Even
fold
even
this.
5-4, I would fold. Like I play 5-6, I guess. 5-4, I think is a fold.
Yeah, suited gappers I think are better for calling. I think.
The
Oh.
suited gappers are better to fold.
Against a raise, yes, and
Yeah.
against a raise, if you're calling somewhere middle to late, kind of late position, I think it's better as a call.
Oh, that's great.
Just fold.
That's fine. I mean, it don't matter. You're out of position to two players.
Yeah.
The limp, right?
We should
Yeah.
fold the small blind more.
Yeah.
We should fold offsuit junk in the small blind.
Not a big deal.
Isn't that
So
right, Louis?
close.
Because small blind is the worst position, right? You're like first act after the flop.
So this deep multi-way pot, I'm telling that I'm playing really passively. I'm
Okay,
not
so,
serious.
so the way you wanna approach this here, I'm not sure if it's right, but we have two key cards for the button here. So our key cards for the button is an ace, a king, a jack, and a 10, and we have two of them here, so we should range bet.
You're
Even with the small blind in the hand.
two players, Louis.
Yes.
It's two players.
I think this is incorrect.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do it.
So what's
That's
a,
certainly
what's
not even
a small blind flatting range look like at this stack depth?
Well, he should
Yeah,
be three betting a lot of his
literally
jack
like
X and 10X, honestly.
Exactly.
I don't range bet against two players here.
Exactly.
But that's what I'm saying. We have two
I
key
mean,
cards there for in
I
position.
don't think Louis I don't think Louis wrong with his C
No.
bet, but I'm just thinking from like evidence standpoint, a small blind flatting range is gonna be very, very connected with a jack that's in here, I would think.
I think boards where there's two cards higher than a 9 as well are boards we should check more on, right?
And another reason why I like to
No,
check is,
absolutely not, Barry. Absolutely not.
another reason why I like to check is because it's gonna be hard to barrel because we just have such a poor connectivity to the flop.
Yeah.
If it was
all-
ace nine suited, like ace nine of clubs, and that same board, would that change anything?
Yeah, if we had suited, if we were suited and had backdoor flush draw for sure, I think it does.
What about your
So, I
stack?
mean, so what you could do here, and I mean, having it a three-way situation is gonna change the dynamic, obviously, but Just look at, I mean, actually, we're kind of deep. We don't probably have a single raise pot sim for 80 deep, do we? I was gonna say you could just check and see what it does post flop. You could probably
It's a
still look at,
small blind and a big
I got
blind.
simple three-way, but it takes a bit to run.
you could probably still look at it maybe, at 40 to see what kind of response.
I mean, with the, okay.
Aren't the big stacks supposed to be have more aggression towards you since you're the effective stack on the button, or no?
I think it's just marginal differences this deep with that deep of an SPR.
Right,
I'll
I
try
guess
to
it's
run
player
it.
dependent. Okay.
Okay, so moving forward.
Yeah, I took a screenshot. I'll see if I can set it up and run it.
Yeah. So here I think I just fold to the bottom line.
It just fucking takes forever, this program now. I don't like it.
I fold 60 bigs.
So say,
I check.
hang on, let's go back a bit. I just wanna ask you guys a quick question about the ace nine.
Yeah,
Say we were heads up against the big blind. What do you guys guess is our bet versus check here on this texture?
80%.
A
it would
lot.
be very high.
Yeah.
It would almost be your range.
But the
bet, I
size
think.
of it or the frequency, Louis?
The frequency, how often do we bet? How often do we check?
Oh.
Probably 80% frequency range bet, right? Heads up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Versus the big
Wow.
blind, it's gonna be a lot of betting versus the small blind. I don't think we're gonna be betting as often, but maybe.
Okay, so what happens usually when we go multi-way? Our frequency, our general frequency goes down, right?
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
by a lot.
Alright,
does it-
so on this spot, button versus big blind, we are betting 100% of the time. We have 1% checks.
Yeah, sorry, Louis, but against the multi-way, obviously it reduces, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you wanna make that what? 70%?
Uh,
I don't know.
with
Yes,
some
and then,
hands, but not this one.
but we do not-
Well, Barry, like, you know, I'm not, I know we're gonna bet less often if we're multi-way, but
Yeah.
for me, this is definitely a bet.
How
But
much?
we have
do
we have a calling extensions on the blind.
This is definitely a mix.
Oh, it's
How much
26
do we
hands.
bet versus the
Big
small
hand.
blind?
That was kind of the question I had was, what does this single raise pot look like versus the small blind in this situation?
And
Well,
this
the
guy not
small
folding
blind's got to
from
have a tighter range to be calling this anyway, normally,
fold to 3-bet.
shouldn't he?
Only
It
100
depends.
hands, that doesn't say a lot.
Shouldn't
I
it
mean,
be-
obviously depending on the stakes, but
I mean,
surely,
he
you know,
folds
normally.
67% of the time to c bet. So that's not a calling station on the flop.
Yeah, yeah,
If you're
yeah.
looking at that. And this doesn't really, like, if you check, you're not gonna win this hand at all. So I mean, a small bet might be okay, but I'm not sure what the actual strategy is gonna be.
I don't think you're barreling, like Ken said. I don't think you're barreling. It hasn't got enough connectivity, this hand, to
Oh,
barrel.
no,
on
you're
the
not
turn.
barreling. If you get called here multi-way, then
You're
they
done.
probably have a 10 or a
I
jack.
can barrel on an 8.
I think she makes a good point on the stats where if they're overly passive or overly aggressive, that
Yeah, but it's only 100 hands and the other one is 26 hands. You can't read anything of.
Alright,
Right.
so if we were heads up against the small blind, what's your guys' guess? Do you guys think we check a lot or we bet a lot?
On this board, we're
Check.
gonna check a
On
lot.
this
I'm
I
board,
think we
check.
can,
You got showdown value as well. That's another reason why I think checking's better here.
okay,
You
well,
give
if
yourself a
we,
chance. You give yourself a chance to hit your ace on the turn
if we were,
against two
head-
players.
if we were heads up against the small blind on this texture, we have 0% checks.
yeah, because the button's
Whoa.
three betting his almost
Versus small blind,
all of his
nice.
10x, all of his jack X, they're three betting almost all of them. So they don't really actually hit that flop that great.
So heads up against the small blind, we range bet. Heads up against the big blind, we range bet. So you
Yeah,
guys
I
wanna
think
argue
it's a
against
bet.
me that this is never a bet?
Oh, no, I said this is
Wow.
a bet. Like, there's no utility
Oh, so
in
now
checking
this,
here.
so now
What
this
am I
is a
getting
bet.
if,
I
don't
thought I was
think-
all over my sinking ship 5 minutes
No,
ago.
no, I agree with you, Louis. I just think.
Oh,
I
you
get
I
all
was
behind
agree
checking.
now. Wow.
No, I was saying, I want to know
Amazing.
what the bet is versus small blind, but I would bet this hand because once you check here in position, there's no like winning this, like, there's no
Well, it's-
utility of checking here. I don't see much
It's just
utility of
a-
checking.
Honestly, it's just a question. That's just kind of my thought
Is
about it.
indeed raising a lot of jacks and tens.
So what, did you look at single raise pot 80 deep here? It's range betting that situation?
Yeah, against both players. But I don't have the solution for like the multi-way.
I'm gonna try to run it, guys, so give me.
I
some
can
time.
get behind. I can get behind checking multi-way. That's all I'm saying.
I
With
thought
the
that-
ace high.
My,
small
I
blinds
use my
is
brain
more,
solver and
but
my
it was
brain
extreme.
solver doesn't want to check here. I want to just bet on the flop. And then if one of them calls, they probably have a pair or they have like king, queen maybe. And I
I'd rather
mean,
bet. I'd rather bet. The
I'd rather
queen high.
bet this
What?
ace high. We can check like a 10x maybe.
Well, multi-way, are you supposed to bet value hands and draws multi-way?
King,
Isn't that a bet,
queen.
right?
Yeah.
And some varying
So-
little bluffs.
Ken might be able to solve it for multi-way. We'll take a look later. For now, let's. just-
Okay.
Next hand.
I only have 80 big blind ranges, so it's gonna be a bit skewed. but it's close, it'll be close.
80 is good because the.
You should have 100 big blind
80,
range,
so.
but this hand is 80 big blind effective, so.
Yeah, usually when I think about if I want to bet, I'm like thinking, what's the utility of checking? And if the utility of checking doesn't seem that much high, then I'm just gonna bet.
Yeah, Vivian, I have a question on that because the reason why I think that there's a potential check there is because it's an ace high. You have an ace. And
Yeah.
so
It's a kind of a
it's-
crappy ace high. We don't have a backdoor or anything and like.
But you got showdown value
Okay,
though, whereas
that
with
makes
queen
sense.
high, you
I
got
guess the
nothing.
bigger question I have is the flop fold. I mean, it goes checks through on the flop.
On the
and then
turn, yeah,
turn-
that's a,
And then the turn, we just fold because it's a 3 to a straight. Is that right? Do we always fold that?
But like the reason why the solver is betting that flop is because the small blind does not have the top and middle set. It
Just
just
also not ace jack and ace 10. Huh?
Yeah, they would re-raise that pre-flop, right?
oh, that's true.
yeah,
That's
but
actually.
the
true.
problem with that logic is that they have all the jack tens. So it's and they're not able to fold a 10.
Right. A lot.
So
Yeah,
even
that
when we bet, they're not folding enough.
queen 10,
One
jack 10, king 10.
other thing as well that we didn't mention back there is where does the delayed continuation bet come in? We shouldn't always just bet the flop every time. We should have some delayed continuation bets on the turn.
Not
If
on
you,
this section.
Once
100%
you
you don't
check
need
that
that,
turn, you're capped 100% of the time. And then those guys who say that you don't want to bet the flop because you can't barrel the turn. Lewis told
No,
me.
what I'm saying is we don't have to always continuation bet. We can
All
have a delay.
all I'm saying, Barry, is that if there's two key cards for in position, there's good chances that you have to range bet. Spot.
And also Lewis told me in my
Just
hand
saying.
history review
Yeah.
that when you think about the flop decision, don't be going all like over analyzing the next decision. Just think about like what you're doing. And so that helped me actually. So you guys are like, oh, we can't barrel the turn. It's like, did I say we were barreling the turn?
No,
Yeah, no, I
no,
get it.
all I was
I
saying
just
is
want
do
to
we
see
barrel
that
the
they're
flop?
folding their junk.
So why are we folding the turn so quickly?
Yeah, I was wondering about that too, but it might be a smart in some ways. Like, but I probably would call once on the turn and see what happens. I'm in position. I get to see what happens.
Aren't
But-
they betting? Aren't they leading into you on the turn a lot of the time once you check that flop with anything?
Yeah,
Exactly. So I think I would call once
because
on the
they're against
turn.
two players.
well, after a street goes check, out of position gets to be up to no good a little bit more. So that's.
So why are we folding the turn? That's the
Because they
question.
could bet all their queens and stuff like that on the turn.
I don't know about playing the turn because we're just building on a mistake, so. The way I would play it, if I see bet the flop, the guy calls, he's not gonna lead the turn. Did you see? So.
No, it makes sense.
When I hit the turn, I can check back and then I can capture sometimes on the river against some opponent and fold against some other opponents. So the way I play it for me is just a lot easier.
Also,
Yeah, well, depend on their sizing.
Yeah, I like that explanation, Louis.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you-
helpful.
Paw control. Yeah. I like what Vince said. Quick question, guys, and Louis. So when you first sit down at a table, the HUD stats, is that relevant, or only if you have history with that player?
You wanna have a couple of hundred hands ideally.
What was the
Yeah, at
turn?
least.
What was the turn card? Cause I didn't put the turn in, but since you
It was
started
a
talking
9.
about it, I'll add it.
A 9.
9.
And I don't remember if it was offsuit.
We don't
9 of
really
hearts.
need
It was
it.
red, right? It
We,
was
we
9 of
don't, we,
hearts.
we just wanna know if we see bet flop or not.
Alright, that's good. 'Cause
Yeah,
that'll run
that's-
faster that, it'll run faster that way.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sorry, I just was curious why we folded this. Okay, thanks.
Okay. So this hand.
But I
well,
learned it wrong, so I gotta do it over. Still getting.
Here I think I should open 2.5. This deep.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
a little bit- So now we have a
You're 60 yourself, 2.3s. I think,
2.2, 2.3 is fine at 55.
okay. Yeah.
Quick question regarding stack sizes and bet sizes. Are say you have a bunch of people that are, about at 100 and you have, some that are at the stack of 40. Are you basing are you kind of like basing it off of an average, or are you going more so off the effective size?
you go
Base it
on.
on whoever you're likely to play the pot with. Which
No,
Button and big
you go
blind.
on your effective stack. So if you have effective stack is whatever you're gonna play for. So if you open from 40 into 100 big blind, you're playing for 40.
But if you have
Yeah, if you're
100
playing
and you're
against the
opening in
20
at 40,
bigs.
you're still playing at 40.
If you're playing against the 20 bigs, you could min raise.
Yep.
I
Right.
kinda look at the button and big blind and kinda structure it that way. I don't know if that's right or not, but that's all.
That's what I do also, because
That's what I do, Ken.
most
Yeah.
likely candidates.
That's what I
Yeah,
did. too.
I'll raise bigger if I'm against the station and I've got a hand, of course.
That's really not optimal.
What, against the station, Louis?
No, against that station, you don't wanna tell him pre-flop that you have something good. You wanna tell him post-flop, you wanna, once he see the 3 cards, he's gonna be too sticky. So that's because calling pre-flop, everyone does that,
Well, if you know someone calls you every time, you don't make it a bit bigger.
Nope,
If you've got a big hand, premium hand.
no, but I will,
Exploitively, I do. If I know that that person's absolutely never gonna, like, if he's an absolute calling station, be pipping 60, 70. And I
I
got
ramp
aces,
it up.
I'm absolutely making it bigger because I'm.
I don't have
Well,
those opponents.
that's not good. You wanna have a balanced open raising strategy.
Anyone else says it's okay to do it?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
the
it
way you
does.
exploit your calling station is by using bigger bet sizes post-flop, not pre-flop. You don't wanna ring off an alarm
Well, if
bell.
they're V pipping 70% and they're just gonna fold a bunch of flops, why not start getting a little extra right away?
Because you tell everyone that you're not all alone on the table with your calling station. You tell everyone you have a good hand when you do that.
If your head's
I
up,
just
you
raise
can
everything
do that,
big.
otherwise you can't.
Yeah.
You don't have to
wouldn't-
only
I wouldn't,
raise-
if there was other players there, Louis, I would keep it more standard size. But obviously, if I was on the button and I've got a station in the big blind and I know he's calling, that's when I ramp it up, especially if I want to get his stack by the river.
No, you wanna avoid having this kind of league because it's very easy to figure out for somebody who pays attention. So you wanna size up post-flop against stations, not pre-flop.
Don't
Because
you want to?
For me, it's
defend the
easy.
range
Well,
and
whenever,
then size up?
Vince, whenever you see somebody open 3.5x all of a sudden,
I can't
you
do
know
it.
he's at the top of his range, right?
No, but if you start opening.
So
all your
why
hands
would you
to
do
3x,
that? That's just like giving out the bet sizing tell for everybody to pick. So that's.
Doesn't happen that often. Most people are multi-table and they don't even fuck.
I
with
think
it.
Most of these stations don't pay too much attention, I
I
don't
see a
think.
lot of
Sure,
people.
sure, if you were all alone on your table with a calling station, sure, but all the other players are paying attention.
Yeah, there's a lot of merit with LP saying for sure.
Wait, so that just
Must
means
be
that
very
if I'm
careful,
opening
tapping that.
10-7 offsuit to 3.5x and everybody's folding, then I'm printing.
If I'm playing on an anonymous site, can I do whatever I want?
Vivian, you
If
can do
it's
whatever you
completely
want.
Yeah, anonymous, yes, but
to check
there
here.
aren't a lot of anonymous sites. Huh?
Check here, Maxi.
Okay. So yeah, this is the multi-board hand.
Till then,
so
you have to adhere to what the player pool does.
I check. Oh, he's leading. Half pot, half player behind us. I
It's
folded.
not a good spot. You're
Yeah,
in a
he's a fold.
sandwich.
Yeah,
There's nothing
Do
wrong
you-
with that.
I think it's a fold. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
If you got a diamond, it's different, isn't it?
The guy's got
Yeah.
jacks and sevens.
Yeah, that's true. So I call. Ace-5 off would be a 3-bet. No, I think it's not.
No,
Would everyone get behind calling there if there was a big diamond there with the queen king?
About what hand you're talking about?
That previous hand, would everyone call there if you had a big diamond?
I didn't see it, so
I'd
This
fold.
one.
I'd
If you
fold
had the
that
king of
probably
if you had the
like
king or queen of diamonds, would you call?
that. I'd fold.
I fold.
Yeah, because the guy's not gonna stop on the turn.
The fold with a player behind.
Okay.
Go with a player.
That's seriously multi-way.
I would call and then regret it.
I'll probably call one.
No.
And then regret it.
If a diamond comes and he bets again, what do you do then?
Well, hopefully you don't bet again, but we still can hit a 10. And then we got the nut.
Hopefully, that's not what I'm playing for.
Yeah,
I think
the real
it's a
problem is
fold.
if the third guy calls too, you're in terrible shape.
Yeah.
You
Or
also have
raises.
people behind you, so when you call, you're really exposing yourself to abuse.
Okay, so against UTG +2, I defended Ace-4.
Be a bit more honest.
He's checking.
Check call.
I don't see any reason to lead here. We have a showdown value.
Mm-hmm.
Now I call here. Check. And he's got a 9.
King 9 from there. He's
Yeah.
playing loose.
Yep.
Wide.
The turn bet was large, right?
Turn was check.
Yeah.
Turn was no.
Over,
It was
overhand,
yeah. Yeah, it was large. Yeah.
It's okay to fold there. There's no draws he has.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
we can
yeah.
fold the turn.
Yeah. I agree.
What happened on the flop? A check through?
Yeah.
Well, it's okay to fold to the large bet.
There's a delayed large C bet. I think we could just fold.
Not calling station. Calling station is not folding.
I think it's fine.
I think you can
So,
mix the spot. And I would probably lean towards folding. And I
Okay.
would mix it probably like 70-30.
Still a fold for me. Check.
What about folding on the button there with the 9-2 suited? Is that what you were saying?
No, the
The
fold
call.
previous hand.
Ace-4.
Yeah.
So Jack 7 would be open here, or even Jack 8. Jack 8, I guess.
I think
Something
Jack
like
10.
that.
7.
You're
It's,
opening Jack
5 suited,
7 off.
6, 7 suited, 7 suited.
Oh, suited. Okay.
But then you open GTO wide.
I should defend hit this.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's who he's opening very early, so
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
It's a small open show you could call, but I would fold normally.
It's offsuit as well.
no,
Yeah.
it's mixing on my pile chart, so it's mixing at 5% or 20%, so.
Yeah, if it's mixing
Yeah,
at 5%,
it's a-
then just fold.
It's a min raise, so you could call. But
Yeah,
I would-
easy fold.
And what's the bottom of course defend?
This hand,
King.
this hand
King
is,
this hand.
If the
Okay,
button
okay.
calls, then you fold for sure.
and then king six is full frequency.
Okay.
What, call king six off at full frequency, Louis?
Yeah,
You say?
I'm folding like ace deuce there. Ace three is mixing.
Yeah, that's. I don't want to be. I call it
I
dominated.
think you can get. I think you could get behind folding all of these. It's not a bad thing.
It's
You mean the king
just
five?
only very small IV spots.
Yeah.
So from the small blind, I was too aggressive raising the small blind limp. Here I should complete.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I usually find myself being aggressive too towards the big
You
blind.
need to limp or raise this one. One of
Yeah,
the
that's
two.
too passive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't fold small blind aces when it's.
Yeah.
It's
Limp
the-
or raise, yeah.
No, it's a pure limp.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a pure limp.
You can limp 100% here, it's fine.
Yeah, if you
So-
raise and get re-raised, then you're in a bad shape.
So
It's
what,
never.
what,
It's never. Are we saying it's never a raise, Louis, from the chart?
Exactly.
so what
Okay.
ace? So what ace is a raise on the small blind? What's the cusp? Or,
Ace four, ace five, ace six, ace seven.
okay.
Everything mixes small blind. Everything's okay.
Yeah, no, ace
true.
deuce and ace three are pure limps.
This is for 30 bigs.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's
60.
interesting to see. Because I tend to mix it, but I've got behind raising these small offsuit aces more because I don't mind folding to a free bet normally. I'd rather do that than limp and then them come over the top
Okay.
and then call it.
Yeah, raise small enough, you can just call.
Please don't talk about limp raising, Barry.
No, not limp raising. What I'm saying is I don't like limping and then when they raise to 3x, calling out of position with ace 3 off. So I'd rather raise it and if they come over the top, I'm gone.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't like being pushed. I don't like being pushed around, Louis, on the table.
Yeah.
Fold.
Easy fold, yeah.
Three bet an ace jack suited right there.
Yeah, ace jack suited, fine fold.
Aces. Fold.
Ugh.
Fold.
You free bet the ace jack suited, you say?
No, I just called.
Can
I
I
was
say?
asking if it was a three bet anytime.
I would probably free bet.
This deep.
Luckily you
sorry.
didn't because the gun raised all in.
Because
But
the
the-
thing is, a good player is always going to free bet over the top of a caller.
No.
They shouldn't.
A good player would isolate in position and play position on you.
There's an under gun player.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's more incentivized to make a squeeze there
Yeah, but you
and
must be
take it
careful
down right
because
now.
There's an under gun player. And
He's got the extra 2 blinds in the pot to free bet.
Yeah, just GTO, the ace jack suited is a call against the under the gun raise.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Even under the gun +1, right? Because your range is supposed to be.
Yeah.
pretty strong.
I don't think you want to 3-bet this hand because you're not happy if the under the gun 4-bets with this hand.
Yeah,
Really
next hand.
happy. And
Yeah,
at
next hand.
35 deep,
Okay.
it's just not good.
So 3 suited G, it's a fault this deep.
If you see they squeeze best too light, you just 4-bet.
True. That's a good point.
Easy.
What? Do we even have a? We're at 30 bigs deep, right? The guy's 3-bet is all in size, no?
He wanted to,
Or even if he does make it like 6 and then under the gun folds, like I don't think we have a clear jam.
No, of course not. But I mean, someone was saying they 3-bet too light there. Yeah, then jam. I mean, yeah.
Wouldn't like a jam like that sizing kind of indicate 2 overs, 2 suited overs? Some they wouldn't. I don't know.
If they jam too wide, it doesn't matter what you have.
Yeah.
If they three bet squeeze too wide, it doesn't matter what you have. You can just forward.
So are we c-betting here multi-way, 3-way pot, 4-way pot? I don't think so.
We could because we have a club.
I have King Jack indeed.
We could.
Rounding the.
Yeah,
We
especially if
could
you're
see
gonna.
bet and then barrel with another club, but
It's
calling
horrible
here is
for.
fine. Checking and
It's horrible
calling.
full way.
What about
Isn't
now?
We call?
Call, didn't call or fold, but
least
you've got
call.
two behind you. You gotta be really careful here.
Ace of.
You can be dead already.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a Jack and a King of club.
Ace.
And you were dead already. Okay.
No. You had 4 out.
Not many. Not many.
Wait, do we have 4 outs?
No,
We had 2 outs, right?
Jacks.
Yeah, 2 jacks.
No, queens and jacks.
Oh, queens, so 5 out. 4 out.
I
yeah,
think if
four-
I was,
four
I think if I
outs.
was, I think if I
2
was
queens and 2
free-handed,
jacks.
Ah.
We should open this, shouldn't we?
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm on it.
Yeah, you are.
That's
Why you win.
That's how you win.
Yeah, have you seen my stats?
There is.
I mean, to be fair, I also play a little bit tighter pre-flop.
He was opening 33% from the button.
Yeah, that's actually a fold, the 9-5, because you're at 25 bigs now. You're not at 30 plus. You're at 25. 9-5 becomes a fold.
So what about this one? 26. Calling.
Fold this.
I can get behind making it 5.5 to go.
Yeah.
With two good blockers.
We could do a 3-bet, yeah.
Yeah, I could.
Depends on what the
Yeah,
other.
he's not that wide. That's the problem. He only plays 18% of hand, so he's a bit nitty. So 3-betting against this guy. Is not
Okay.
gonna be
Yeah.
I don't use a HUD Louis. But if I knew the guy was fairly solid, I wouldn't 3-bet.
If I don't use a HUD, well, I use a basic HUD. Against the 18 via VPIP, I would never 3-bet. And the guy was looser, like 25, 28 or more. I'm always 3-betting.
But look,
Yeah.
his fold to 3-bet start at 75%. Quite
Yeah.
high.
But for 128 hands, it doesn't say a lot.
Yeah.
That's a good rule of thumb, what Louis just said.
The higher the percentage, the more hands you're
That could be
playing.
4 hands right there.
Yeah, you have
Everything
4
You
hands on
haven't
it.
folded.
See, whenever I 3-bet my king jack off, that's what I get. King jack 3.
You need 1,000 hands.
Louis, can you explain the HUD real quick since we're talking about that, the numbers that we're looking at?
You mean this HUD?
Yeah, what do you wanna know?
Just the V, the P, the
This is
The VPIP, the V
VVAR.
represents the VPIP. That's the number of hands the player is gonna play.
voluntary put in the pot.
So a good guideline, if you see somebody around 15 of VPIP, like if he doesn't have a 2, like that's a big nit. So be wary of big nits. The way you exploit them is you don't call their opens. You don't pay them post flop because they don't play enough. When you see a guy that has a VPIP of 30, 35, 40, the way you're gonna exploit them is you're gonna 3-bet them a lot. Because
Like
they're
Louis.
opening too wide, so they can, they will do poorly against your 3-bets. So
You need
that's.
to 3-bet Louis all the time because he just push you around.
So
saw a player.
that's how you use the V, basically.
Pre-flop
The-
raise.
So the V, that's how I use it.
Hey, can we go back to the king jack suited hand? for a
I use
second?
it similarly indeed.
But what else can I use? What else numbers can I look at to?
King Jack suited or offsuit?
All
Was it
the
king jack
numbers,
offsuit?
basically.
I
Yeah.
thought it was king jack suited.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, okay, then don't need to go back to it.
Okay.
What would you do? What would you do if it was suited there then, Maxi? I'll be interested to know. Would you call just because it was suited?
Here.
Because it's not much of a difference.
That's a 3-bet. King Jack suited is a jam at 26 blinds.
Yeah, I would jam this. I just wanted to say.
If it was suited, you would jam it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, the GTO charts would jam it, and I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
What's weird is at 30 big blinds, it's just a call. So it's a real borderline case.
So, do you guys have any thoughts with when a nit is playing on the cutoff or late position? They want to fold, right? They want to be nitty. Is that a time where you can kind of exploitively 3-bet and 3-bet fold? Like this would be a good situation where you could go 5.5 or 6.
I disagree.
And
I disagree because
isn't the guy going to be very polar in his response? Or
He
sorry, very
is.
linear in his
he
response?
is, but the thing is, they're like you don't want to play post flop against a net in a 3-bet pot against a guy who probably has a better range than yours, right?
But
You just want to. The way you execute nets, it's a lot easier just never to pay them. They're gonna blind out every time.
He's also not a huge nit because he has a 3-bet percentage of 12, so he has aggression to him.
Yeah. So I
What
really
about
don't
his
like
fault-
to
what about his
go
fault to
against the
3-bet?
nittier players on late positions because I think their range is not well constructed. But there's so many players that open 30, 35, 40. There's so many of them, at least on the sites where I play, that
Yeah, so
you don't need to gun for nits. You can. There's a lot of lags around here.
yeah, so Louis,
Also, you can't assume that if he is opening tighter, that he is also not calling off as much.
For example, this particular guy,
Or
his guy is calling 3-bets 75% of the time.
Yeah, but that's
folding to 3-bet.
Yes, he's folding.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm wrong.
Doesn't say anything.
I think it's too tight to fold this hand in position, in my opinion, to a late position
No, it's not
raiser.
too tight.
Yeah, I agree. I would 3-bet it often. But
would.
this is not the opponent to go against.
You must have at least a VPIP of 25 for me to 3-bet him.
hey, can I ask you a question about using kind of high level or low data HUDs like this in a tournament? Because I mean the tournament circumstances change so frequently. How do you? I mean, I know how to use them in a cash game, but I actually just turn it off when I'm playing tournaments.
Well, our default strategy would be to 3-bet this GTO.
No,
If you don't know the
Doesn't
opponent.
it call
I don't think so.
sometimes?
Or is it?
when you get lower?
No, it's mixing 50% 3-bet. Sorry, and 50%. Oh.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
King Jack off, 25 bigs, cut off first hijack.
Real fast.
So
regarding the
calling
guy.
or folding?
We should always play it then, Louis, in
Yeah.
the GTO scenario.
Yeah,
You flat
But-
in GTO.
but it's the bottom of the range, so I don't
He
mind
still folds some percent.
making an exploit based on who we're playing against.
Okay.
Just jam it in.
This one.
Yeah.
I would just squeeze it.
It's
Oh,
just free
man.
money. Just put the money in.
I would
should
just
jam
squeeze it. I would just squeeze pot size.
If you look at the stack size, there's no like jamming stack, so there's no reason for them to trap. So this is weak. Like
Yeah.
if you see
I-
a bunch of stack, there's like 18, 15, then you gotta be a little cautious. But this is not it. Like I would
He's a
just put
VPIP
the
of
money in
18,
there,
the first
not
time.
see a flop pick up the blinds.
So why is a jam better than
It's
just
a
a
VPIP of 18.
pot size raise here?
And he only limps.
He limps
Doesn't
everything,
matter. I
even
mean,
aces.
You could make it top
He
size.
can have aces.
I'm not saying that it's better. I'm just saying that this hand is good enough against these two limping range. I don't mind it running it. So I would
Yeah,
just
no,
put
I
the
just was
money in
curious
stuff.
if you
He's
thought
crazy.
that jamming was better than pot size
No,
raise.
I wasn't thinking like jamming was better. If you make it like 6 big blinds and they fold, then it's fine.
Yeah.
I maybe
I
rather
think-
would more would jam it when I would have.
Also,
20
like, I
bigs.
think this is notable, Maxi, because the observation that was made at the top of this whole conversation was being a little too passive on the big blind. That might be an example of that.
I was gonna say if you was around about 10 bigs, maybe not, but these guys could possibly be limping with hands like ace queen and that as well. These limpers limp with everything.
Yeah.
So don't you want something a bit more linear?
He's only limping the first
Well, they
time.
could also be
Not,
limping
raising
like with
anything.
9-10 suited. I don't mind.
It does.
This called tricky limpers.
Yep.
If you have a read that they're like always tricky limping, then yeah, but if I have no reads and I look at the stack size, I suspect this is not a very strong read.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
I would
Also,
three
yeah.
bet indeed for ISO raise pretty big and not go all in.
You get behind squeezing it, Joe.
Yeah.
I would not make it like 3-4 big blinds though, because
No,
you're
no,
just
no,
gonna
not
get
that.
called.
No,
and
you're
that
out of
hand just-
position.
6
You're
or
right.
7.
Like you're out of position. It's
You're out of
sucks.
position. Yeah. you
I
gotta
would
bet it.
100% squeeze it small and then play it as a 3-bet pot. People are gonna check fold.
So what would your sizing be on that? You have 25 blinds. and there's
size.
2 limpers?
5.
Pot size.
Pot
Oh,
size
I
plus
don't,
1.
so that
not
doesn't
small,
feel
pot
like
size.
small. I mean, pot size is not small, is it? Is that, maybe it's just words, but
3 times the last
It's,
bet
2.5
amount,
plus
which is
2
1,
is
and then
4.5.
any additional money in the pot.
yeah, no, I agree with pot size. I just, when you said small, I thought maybe you were gonna make it 3.
It's to 5.5. That's what you do. 4.5 more. Or more even. No, 1.5. Yeah, 2.5. Yeah.
Now I think I shall.
Yeah,
There
for
you
sure now.
There you go.
I think this is different than shipping 25 bigs.
Yeah, exactly same guys, I guess.
You
I
can't
don't think
fold with
they're. I don't
a.
think they're a tricky limper, man. They're just limping.
I mean, tricky limpers, it's random. They're gonna have tricky limps in their range, but most of their limps are
I
shit.
mean,
You
They're gonna have
know.
aces
limping
so
with their
often.
entire range,
know.
but when they're only calling off with like ace jack plus, then it's fine. I would just move in and just take that.
Yeah, I'll rip it. I ain't worried. I don't care about tricky limpers either. I got a hand, I gotta go with. I go with it. If they're limping, good for them. With aces, good for them.
Yeah, so that's generally true, Ken, but if you saw a real net and you actually saw, if you had a note on them, you might change your mind, right?
So Josh, how I look
Sometimes
at
I
it is,
see
if there's a
people
guy
with
that
50,
never
15,
limps and all of
they
a
only
sudden
limp.
limps, then
Yeah.
I'm very cautious.
Yeah, so there are, I mean, that's my point is there are some exceptions. I had a situation live where I kicked myself so much because like I didn't even realize the guy was at the table after 4 hours and he limps. And it was a straddle, this is a cash game, straddle pot and I raised it and he just jammed and I'm like, okay. And then I called, which was like a bad day. Pocket
Yeah,
aces.
I'm more afraid
His
of people
range is-
that never
his
limp
range
and
was
all of a
all
sudden,
6 pocket aces.
I'm more
What-
afraid
what
of
did you
people that
raise
never
That's so
limp.
true. It's really hard for that person to be balanced if they're raising like normal hands and then they're like limping and their limps are just like either very strong or queens plus or they're like crap hands and you're like,
Yeah,
what
but
are
the
they
first player has a
limping?
PVR of 1. So he's
Yeah,
not
all right.
raising.
I'm jamming this.
Just jam.
Yeah. I think I'm sure that I was multi-way, so some spots are missed. Right now, I see that just jam would be good.
So now did you just limp this? So there's yet another example of passive big blind play. Again, I'm just pointing
Yeah.
it out because it was the observation
Yeah,
with the
it's
data.
huge. It's huge. If you
analysis.
can pick up 2.5 big blinds there, it's just huge.
Are
Yeah,
you jamming?
that-
Are you jamming if you're the small blind with the same hand as well? Because I am.
I'm
Open jamming, yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
jamming
if
also.
you yield like 2 big blinds every time you do that, that's 200 big blinds, 100 just by jamming.
It's 2.5.
And you guys like jamming better than just a good raise in this situation?
Yep.
I mean, what are you gonna
At
do
this
when you
stack
raise
size,
and then
yes.
So
ship
what's your
all in?
cutoff there, Vivian, on like it with 20 blinds? You do that? Like when do you go to a raise in that exact situation?
I go over 25. 25, I'm still jamming probably.
For the
Jamming
ace,
pre-flop?
ace
What about-
rags, yeah, I would say you can jam those up to like 20 plus big blinds. You can still rip them in and it's still gonna be profitable. But like as you go a little bit higher, like 30 big blinds, then you're not gonna have as many jams in either position. You're gonna have more like 3 to 5, 3.5 big blind raises. And you should be raising a reasonable clip from the big blind. And that's basically, that's how you print money a lot of times.
Spot on.
Right, that's interesting. But so, I mean, just as.
But not raising every time from the big blind is a certain like high-low. So you would raise with like some kind of weaker high-low combos. And then not offsuit combos if you're less than 40, I think. You would have to look at the charts and study them. And then as you go deeper, you're raising with suited combos more.
I would indeed just look at the charts.
Yeah, look at the charts. Like pre-flop charts are really, really good. If you're struggling, you have pre-flop errors are going to improve your win rate way more than a lot of the errors later, because if you mess up pre-flop, then you're already out of the tree. And then look how the ranges change based on the stack size, because 40 and 20 big blinds are completely different. And then 60 and 20 big blinds are completely different in terms of what you can call with. So just
Yeah,
keep
obviously we're
studying
not doing this
pre-flop.
in an ICM situation though.
Yeah,
So I'm looking
jamming
at
this.
the 25 big blind versus small blind chart from big blind. It does jam ace 8, ace 9, ace 7, and ace 2, but not other, like ace 6. It's mostly flatting.
Yeah, I just jammed that too.
Or I guess I don't know how you call that. That's a limp. It's supposed to be limp versus limp, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have some aces that you're still checking, but mostly so it doesn't jam the suited aces as often. Am I right?
Right.
Yeah, you're gonna have some aces still, so they can't just abuse you every time an ace comes, because you're gonna have aces, suited aces.
Yeah, the only jams at 25 are ace 9, ace 8, ace 7, and ace 2, and then the small pairs, sixes, minus.
Yeah.
But
As you
what
go-
you said something that confused me, because you said at 30, I thought there would be any jams, and I guess it's jamming ace 9 and
It's,
fours minus. But
Yeah, I don't
At
do that.
30, at 30, it's only jamming ace. Yeah, I'm trying to get like really heuristics. Because you're not going to memorize every single chart. You just got to know kind of like what category at what stack size.
well, that's
I
why I
feel-
asked, like, at what blind level does this jamming stuff stop? And it
26,
sounds like
27.
yeah.
We're supposed to split our ranges depending on our stack depth. We should be able to split them into like 3 different types, right? Like the limp re-raise, the jams, and the
But
min-raise cool off.
Stack size is different. So.
And this is another thing I do consider who the player in the small blind is. If I know that they're a really good player and they're gonna have some limp, they're gonna limp a good range as well as a weak range, then I don't jam quite, like I jam more than it says in the charts, but when I'm against a player like that, I jam just a little bit
Yeah,
less.
because you assume that they limp weak.
I
'Cause
probably
most of
take
them are limping weak, but if I know the guy's capable and he's playing well and he seems like he constructs his range well and he's a thinking player, then I'm more cautious.
I probably take more if I remember to take notes on players. I probably take more blind versus blind notes than other notes, because I'm like, okay, I'm going to be playing with this person blind versus blind, and if I know that they have, if someone has a limp raise, I take a note of it, because most people don't include the limp raises in their as effectively. Or if someone has a limp jam, I really take note of it. Like this person limp jammed on me, so maybe
he bluffs.
maybe
Oh,
I
he should.
Yeah, he should have limp jams, but not everybody.
And limp
has-
bluffs. I mean, he
Yeah,
said
but
limp,
most
he should have limp raise bluffs, limp raise value, right? Like,
Yeah, you have to blind versus blind. Like the pre-flop charts are so like more complex, and you have to like know the heuristics of
If
those.
people are splitting their ranges into
Are
limp
we still,
re-raise, jams, min-raise,
Are we still
cool
talking about
off,
this hand?
it's harder to
Well,
play.
no, we
against.
were talking about the other hand. So this is relevant. We were talking about a blind
We're
versus
talking
blind
about
situation where the
versus
recommendation
blind.
jam.
And yeah, you're going to be jamming at this stack size with this hand pretty much
Yeah.
always.
more
From
often than
small blind or
very
big blind.
more often than
Oh.
not, it's gonna be a straightforward player on my right, and it's just like they limp weak shit and raise good stuff. But I mean, there's occasionally a player that I think
Not even gonna fold here. Like if I play it this way, I'm not even gonna fold.
Yeah,
This is a
because
call.
Yeah,
the
this is
reason
only
the
call.
offsuit aces go in
Yeah,
the
call.
jamming range here is because
Just call.
they realize
And
their
hope they
equity
check the
worse.
river.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
you would have
I
to
missed
call that
that.
one big blind, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Does any-
I'm seeing right.
Does anybody limp jam this hand from the small blind at these stacked decks?
No,
I
No,
do.
No,
Because
because
I've seen players do that.
I wouldn't bet.
you do that with better
I wouldn't bet
hands.
on the big blind player raise enough of the time. Because when you limp, they're supposed to ISO you like close to 50% of the time, and it don't.
But we
The
should do
only
that
one
against the
time
lag.
I limp re-raise was.
I think
Not
it's
only,
ace, king, ace, queen, ace, jack, protect, or is that still not the rule, Lewis? Is that still the rule if you're limp jamming? Ace, king, ace, queen, ace, jack, protect?
No,
I mean, the 20, you're limping like ace, king off, ace, queen off for,
I did it a couple
jam.
times, but it's all against
And
like
some
poker
middling
coaching. Like,
pairs.
if it's God's big toe on my left and I know he's gonna ISO me, then I'm gonna limp re-raise.
Yeah, most players don't ISO enough, so then you don't get the money in, so it's better to just raise them.
Would anybody do it with a lag? Just limp jam that ace eight off? If
Nope.
you knew for a
Yeah,
fact they're
yeah.
gonna
If
raise
you
you
look at
up.
his stat and he's running like freaking 32-28, then yeah, limp jam it.
That's
Yeah.
not
And
the
he has
lag,
a big
that's the
stack.
main
You just limp jam it.
Yeah, that's what I was asking, whether anyone would do that.
I don't.
Yeah, but if you
I
see the
look at the
guy
stats
on your
news,
left has a
also.
normal stat or like a little tighter, then probably not a good idea.
Finally, we got a
So that's-
hand. It's been like 6 hours. We didn't
That's
get a
actually a
hand.
hand you can limp, jam, I think.
This one.
I'm not sure 12, but like 20.
No,
maybe
not at
15.
12. It's gotta be at 20. And then somebody opens from the bottom.
yeah,
Pretty sure at
this
12 it's
different.
just an open rip.
Yeah,
It's
when-
open
when
rip.
does it start limping?
It's
Little
open
bit-
from the
little
button,
bit
Ken.
of 15, little bit
It's
of
open
15.
from the button, so it doesn't matter. Just look at
Okay.
the charts and then you see.
We have a hand and everyone folded to us.
It's fine. You picked up like 3 blinds.
Oh, you mean with the ace king, we got raised. The ace king was great.
Does someone have a baby in the background there?
No, I
Baby,
don't.
baby.
Like a cat.
Please tell me you raise this to 3x.
This one, 16
Please
bigs.
tell me you make this 3x on the limper.
3x.
I probably just open, I just probably rip over the limper with this hand.
Let's see what happens.
This situation, you need to be a little bit more careful because there's a 16 big blind stack. You have 16, and then the button has 18. This is more likely to be a stronger hand than whatever the hand the guy limped before.
For sure.
Okay, let's see.
This is a jam or a fold, right?
I
I'm just
jam.
ripping
I
it.
like it. I like the jam here.
That's where
A
I'm
little
going.
bit deeper, I would do
I
the
would still
deep.
jam it, but
Look, we stacked them. Perfect. Next
No,
hand.
he's limping crap.
Would anyone else raise it there?
And
or
calling
not?
crap even.
Would everyone jam that?
I was jamming it, yeah.
I would jam it normally.
Yeah.
We don't have enough chips to non all in raise.
Nah.
Nice fold.
You can't fold
Yeah.
against the re-raise, only if 2 or more people go all in. Even then it's tricky.
See bet.
Yeah.
He calls. Now I think I'm checking.
Does
Just
anyone
flush
check?
them.
Does anyone check that flop though? Because it's pretty miserable if he comes over the top, right?
No, I'm never checking.
It's
that.
a range bet. It's just a
no,
range
you just
bet.
bet it.
I think you can
Okay.
actually barrel again and then give up. You can buy the
A
river
good
with a
range
small
bet
bet.
against the big one, yeah.
You can bet for value.
Yeah, I would have bet the
I
turn
think you can
too.
mix both spots.
You would
bet
bet the turn here.
Yeah, then you buy the river a lot.
Yeah,
Like
bet
if
the
he check
river for
raises,
value.
then, you know, he's face up pretty much.
I
when they
think you
check
have
raise
to.
there.
I think you have to go for value on the river here.
Oh, on the turn, I like a bet, and then
Let's
That's
see.
a
Like it on the river.
Check.
This is the UTG versus big blind. Yeah, UTG
Check,
plus
check,
2.
check.
Sure, when he checks the river, we go for value no matter what.
well, I don't know if you
It's a small
necessarily want to
size.
reopen the action with second pair. I mean, it's dicey. It's thin value. Maybe you can, but I like
Yeah,
to bet
that's
on
a
the.
lot of times. I like Ken's theory where you can go bet with your value hands that don't really want to get raised on the river, or don't want to really.
Yeah,
open.
I like buying the river there.
You don't want to get raised on the turn either. That
Well,
was
if he raises, he's
That's,
probably, I mean, they always have it when they raise, almost.
Oh,
When they raise the
prefer-
turn, they got it.
Yeah, you can go for thin value on the river.
Hey,
I think-
I'm gonna check out Maxi. This is outstanding and
That's full.
congratulations on this run. And Louis, thanks again for this. incredible
Okay.
run.
Thanks a lot, Josh.
Thank you.
Hey,
Yeah,
Josh.
Josh.
Yeah, Josh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go
Okay.
sin too, but yeah, it's interesting. I like hand history.
He checked the river to you. I think you could value bet this river.
For sure.
Yeah.
You
You
have
make
to
the spin
value bet
bigger,
there.
Maxi?
What?
Yeah, bet like
You make the
two
spin
and a
bigger
half, 3 big blinds.
after?
Okay.
You have to value bet there 100% of the time. 100%.
Well, I mean, not necessarily. I mean, you check turn, so straights come in, he could have a flush, he could have a
And
queen.
check.
Yeah,
so
but he's
you
gonna
have-
come over the top, Ken, if he's got, you're missing out on the value if he hasn't got it.
Well, I would have bet the turn. I would have got my value on the turn and then just check back river.
How big on
I
the turn?
find betting the.
I like that line too,
risky
Ken.
and betting the river actually.
How big on the turn? 6?
Probably just small again, like almost half
Yeah,
pot.
small. You gotta bet small. On the
I just want to give him a bad price to draw.
Okay.
Okay. So as a conclusion,
You're betting
Louis,
on-
Louis, what do you think?
The conclusions, we lost value on it,
Yeah.
on whatever street.
Okay.
Hey, Ken.
I think I go like 5. I think I go actually like 5 on the turn, and that sets up a river jam.
Is that a value bet or a bluff?
It's a thin value buying river. I'm in position,
Ace
so
two
a
suited.
smaller bet could often buy the river.
You can't just check down the turn and river there without putting a bet out. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're miserable when he leads river. Like you got a call and he could just have a queen, he could have a flush, he could have a straight. It sucks.
And he could have nothing,
It's
Nothing,
second
but
pair.
yeah, but we still have second pair, right? So like, I'd rather just buy the river.
but then,
Not like
Yeah.
but then he can
Oh.
bluff.
Well,
that's
if he's
never
good
a
enough to
fold.
bluff, then good for him.
That's never a fold.
Yeah, that's a misclick for sure.
Now, I mean, if you check the turn, then he can bluff the river. That's the opportunity you give him.
So let's
When-
check out a sim.
I would check
Yeah,
the
I
queen
like that.
back more often than the 10, I think.
He
Sorry,
hasn't
I
got
just-
much.
I just
he hasn't
wanna
got
be
much of his
like-
board.
It is mixing on the
Weird.
turn. It's mixing 50-50 on the turn.
Yeah, that's
What's the size?
Small.
When you bet?
Small
Small,
starting
right?
with
Diamonds?
Check raise here.
I can't raise too small, and it's just a check.
Okay, this is the misclick for sure.
I have an exploitive thing I like to do. It's weak players anyway.
Yeah, but I do it the other way around against weak players.
So, nines here.
What do you mean, Josh?
Then-
What do you do?
I
Folding.
check turn and bet the river. No, that situation.
So what about here, guys? We have a limper and
I mean, I don't know.
Acevedo.
It depends
This
on
is
my
a
mood. I don't
jam
mind
and
rumbling.
the
close
money
your eyes, I
in.
think.
I'm either gonna rumble. Sometimes I'll fold, sometimes I'll rumble. How far from the money are you?
It's too far away. It's
Yeah,
just the
so-
beginning.
Yeah,
This-
stick the
this is all
money
in.
in.
What's your?
This is a
head
GTO
size
size
size?
raise on 2 limpers. It's got to go in, isn't it?
I mean, I know he's always gonna have at least 2 overcards, and if I think I mean, I still got 30 big. Sometimes I fold here, honestly. Sometimes I do. Like, I don't care.
Just fold here normally.
I'm
Because
folding this.
I like
Nothing to
playing-
worry about that.
I'd rather play post flop against a lot of tables I'm at.
I would like to make an exploitative fold here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me also.
but
However,
this is a
if this
this
is
is a
LP
GTO
that's
size
making the
raise,
6
though,
big
right?
blinds, I'm ripping it.
Yeah.
Like, this
But
is,
The fact
too-
that-
this is
the fact he's
pairs
made
and
it
Broadway
GTO
cards.
size.
This is all pairs and Broadways.
This
right?
is a
So-
net, so we don't, nines are,
Yeah.
they're not gonna do well.
Yeah, I
against the
think
nets
folding
raising range.
versus those stats is good, and I think you're definitely jamming jacks and you're probably jamming tens.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
don't, yeah, so nines is where you're like, and I don't mind a fold. You're probably not losing much by folding. You might even be gaining.
What about against the tag? Because we know that he's going to make it 6x there against 2 limpers, right?
Oh, you did fold. Nice.
You still
Oh, you
fold.
didn't get there yet.
Yeah, I
What do you
folded.
think the tag
Okay.
is?
Gamble, no gamble, no
Is he
future.
Someone who's
Okay.
someone gambling.
Yeah.
Are we-
No,
gambling.
tag is tight aggressive.
I don't
He
hate,
made
I don't
it
hate
6
over
big
limping.
blinds.
I don't
There's
think
like
this is a
8
fold.
Just
There's
over limp.
There's 8 blinds in the pot. I'm
Yeah.
gambling with nines, man.
I probably am too, to be honest.
Can I see the
If he
other
folds, if he
stats?
folds king, queen, hallelujah.
Yes.
Yeah, if he
And he's
calls
going to be
you,
doing that with ace jack as well.
Boo.
And they're gonna get there 45% of the time, which sucks.
I think you
but
could just rip
Is he gonna
here.
call you off?
Sheer
With all-
ripping.
With all his offsuit broadways, is he gonna call you off with
With most of them, yes.
I'm just
with
over
ace
limping
queen
here.
and less?
Yeah, I should also.
You can
Again,
overlimp here.
I
or-
think you might fold ace queen there.
I'm over limping. I'm not folding
I'm
ace five on
folding
the
ace
button.
queen
You
there.
can't find, you can't fold ace
Oh,
five.
no,
suited
I
on
don't
the
like
button.
the folding.
No. And then fold to the jam, yeah.
Yeah.
I
that's
don't
all.
mind
Yeah.
over limping if these players are passive.
Yeah,
If I don't know them, I just overlimp.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a guy who's V-pipping 50% with no raise and then a 29-3. This is just,
The
I'm
problem
either
is they have
raising,
ace
I'm
jack in
playing
their
this
limp. The problem
damn
is they got
goddamn
ace
pot.
jack in their limping range too, right?
But
Like,
you
they're
got
gonna have
the
way
button,
better,
dude.
they're gonna
You
have
gotta
better
limp on
aces
the
in their
button.
limping range. So
Yeah,
I'm
if
just
it's a
over
suited
limp.
hand, that's what you play. You play not your ace. You play the nut suit hand.
You gotta limp on the button here with this.
yeah, that's for sure. I agree.
We have an
Missed the
ace. We
spot.
block the top of their limping range. So why don't we just attack them?
Yeah, also
That's a
possible.
good hand to over limp with.
You could raise
But
it.
are you still limping case 5 suited with the 20 big blind stack?
What we all agree on, don't
Oh,
fold.
I'm over limping. 20.
On the button, I'm definitely coming in.
Okay.
But Maxi had a
also
deep
just-
run, so he played well. So yeah.
Where are all the river calls?
I don't know. I
Not
don't
in this
know.
tournament. That's why he had a deep
don't know.
run.
They're coming. Oh,
I'm also curious about this. So
Gotta open some
here,
bad tournaments.
This is a close call.
yeah,
I think we're supposed to call this to this 2x.
Ramble.
But
See,
he's
that's
an
the
it.
thing.
Offsuit you can
Yeah,
fold. We
fold,
gotta
fold,
It's
call
an
fold,
early,
fold,
early
fold.
versus the like later position raises. You should V-pip, but versus the early position, you should fold is fine.
and also versus the net. Yeah,
If he's a nit, definitely, yeah. But I think that's the bottom of a range call anyway, right?
No, it's a fold offsuit.
It's a fold offsuit.
The pair. Yeah.
Oh, well, I should defend.
Yeah, you gotta call that.
That's multi-table.
15. I mean, yeah,
It's
you
not the
still gotta
worst.
call. You still gotta call.
Yeah,
It's offsuit.
4-1 we're getting odds.
It's offsuit though. It's not a
Yeah,
bad
it's
fold.
it's not bad. I think it's a
To an
border
under the gun raise.
It's just small
Yeah.
EV.
folding this.
I mean, it's not horrible, whatever. You gotta get lucky to hit a flop, so. Just fold.
Yeah. When you're so small stacked, any pair is good then. So.
Right.
I'm not completing here.
Yeah, you gotta
God,
call.
are you serious?
I love it.
I don't mind the fold here.
Fold.
No.
I rather complete again with suited connectors with more connectivity.
I'm
than
never folding.
suited.
I would call here,
I don't mind the fold.
but
don't
I
want
would
to fold.
fold a lot of the other crappy. Like I would fold ace deuce.
A6, A7.
This is
Yeah,
crap
ace
enough.
six.
Ace 5 off.
I call A7. I like A7.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wanna
In
be able to make
multi-way,
moves.
I would call all suited aces for sure there. All suited aces. but not
multi-way, you lose a lot of equity realization. You don't have to call. You can fold there too.
I think you could, is that a jam? King jack off there versus,
You could jam it.
hijack?
I think it's a pure call.
At
Who can
20
check?
bigs.
At 18,
Yes.
19.
Josh, can you check please?
See, he opened a little larger too, which makes me wanna jam more. Like if you open 2x, I think maybe call some, but at 2.5, I'm just jamming. So he spiced it up an extra half big blind for me. I like to go after that shit.
I'll probably just fold this out.
What's the ranges say?
I don't like the bigger raise, Ken.
20 or button, right?
Yeah,
I find when they start doing
against
this, when they show up with
the
ace king.
hijack, yes.
It calls. It calls at 2x, but see, I mean, like, that's why he makes it a little bigger. I'm like, you shouldn't be opening that big. I'm just gonna steal your extra.
Against
half
this
big.
opening size, I would jam or fold.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll fold.
Yeah, I'm not calling, so when he makes it bigger, I usually just rip on him.
Probably don't rip enough in those spots. The big raise, I I don't know if that's his normal raise, then yeah. But if it's like, oh, he was raising 2 and then all of a sudden does 2.5, I'm like, I'm suspicious and I might just.
I
fold,
find that
honestly.
when they raise bigger, they show up with the bigger hand.
Yeah.
What about this?
Yeah,
This
I
should
think
be
I like this fold.
this one.
This is a fold for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2.5x also.
I wouldn't even like the 2x there with Jack 6. Anyone else?
No, I think you defend it versus 2x and late
Versus late
position.
position, yeah.
But
I'll call
but
suited.
versus the 2.5 in the big blind, you actually get to fold a lot more versus 2 versus 2.5.
I don't mind folding.
No,
The
Just a
suited
shove.
hands are resilient versus the 2.5, but the offsuit hands, you can just start folding them.
The bottom of your range.
Yeah, just
Jack six.
fold.
So 15 deep opening.
You can fold. Queen
not
nine,
unless you're on
man.
a real, not unless
I
you're
like
on a real
folding.
tight
I would
table.
play queen nine there. I'd go 2x with queen nine, but not queen eight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Ace,
side is
suited
this?
ace, suited ace.
This
Yeah,
is a
yeah.
Pokerstars. Pokerstars.
Yay.
This is where it shows up with a strong hand.
Yay.
Ace
Who
three.
cares?
He called
Oh,
ace
hold
3 off.
on.
Yes.
This is a
Interesting.
$5 tournament, right?
Yeah.
He made it big as well.
It was
that-
also
his,
for 15. big
Yeah, you
blinds.
didn't have a good hand and you made it big. So yeah.
Well, he just
I
did it
guess it's
again
true.
too. So that maybe that's his standard raise size is 3x. This guy.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
no,
fine.
now he's
That's
made
good,
it too.
Anyways,
see, players
I
like
gotta
that,
go.
players like that, I think actually their stronger part of their range is 2 and their weaker part is bigger. So they want people
Yeah.
to fold to their bigger opens and they want people to call when they open smaller. It's
Makes
weird.
sense.
like-
They're guessing.
Well, that's what I see a lot.
Vivian.
That's what I
Hi,
see a
Vivian.
lot.
On that hand, his ace
Take
3
notes on
calling.
specific hands and then you can
was a
say,
nightmare, right?
otherwise you're guessing.
So what about this one? Should we? He's so lag. Should we call?
I would fold.
No,
Hold on one
no
second.
calling,
Before we
yeah.
move forward, on the ace 8 suited, his call with the ace 3 was not correct, right? I mean,
Of course.
yeah, okay, just making sure.
I don't even open ace 3. Like, I know I don't open ace 2 from the button there. Ace 3, I'm like,
Ace 3
yeah,
is mixing.
sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
So we're
Good off, I
defending.
have an ace 5.
Call.
Oh man, that's a
No.
mistake.
No, no. Gotta
No,
play.
you can't fold here indeed.
It
Bit
should be a
tight.
defend. Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Again, I'm just repeating the multi-table stuff. I think I was like.
Suited king.
No, there's no excuses.
Not for that one.
Against the mini raise.
How do you like
My
this raise
excuses.
size?
We don't
Not
accept
for
them
king
here.
5 suited.
Yeah. Look how
You get away
raising
like
this.
1 per hand history. You could have 1 excuse like that
Just
per
fold.
hand history. That's the
Okay,
limit.
now I have my limits out now.
Snowmen. Hopefully they don't.
No,
I would
get
rip
here.
over that. Oh, it's a new dude. Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably just call.
I just repeat it. I think it's also not bad. 24 effective, 20, 26 with 8.
What? Oh yeah, you raised.
Because we have this short stack here also. This loose guy here.
Let's see.
Yeah.
25.
That spot there actually is quite difficult to play, isn't it?
Cutoff.
Like to know what's best to do.
Yeah, with the 8.
25
Really,
yeah.
cutoff
it
versus
is.
hijack, you mostly want to call at 25.
You
Call
want to
normally.
call, but then you look at the short stack behind
Yeah.
them and you just.
Yeah,
And
if
this
you
big
get
If your
guy.
short stack
Yeah, if you
rejams
call
and
him
the
off.
opener folds, then you call it off.
Yeah.
But we have this loose guy who's just gonna call everything. And then
Yeah,
we're
but
in a
that's-
problem.
You're set mining, so that's not a problem if you call.
So you're saying call, and if that short stack in the big blind is jamming for 11.5 effective, it's an easy call.
If the low
I'd
jack
probably call
folds,
there more often than not.
if
I'd
the
call
low
there
jack
more often
folds,
than
I
not.
call. If the low jack comes along, I just fold.
Yeah, if the low jack comes along, I
But
fold.
low jack is jamming. He's rejamming if he's coming along.
I think yeah, there is merit of calling. I think both plays are normal. in my opinion.
I'd call in here with the correct odds. If I didn't have the correct odds, then I'd probably jam it.
I mean, he never jams on our charts at 3 bets a sliver.
It never jams on the charts, Ken.
No.
No.
Not against that position, probably indeed. And you're also not button or small blind.
Well, you've got the odds to set mine there.
Now, our charts are considering everyone's at 30, so it'd be interesting to put it in HRC and see if we do play it differently with the 10 big blind stack, rejam stack after it. It definitely changes the ranges.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm not really sure how it affects them yet. I'm just starting to look at that, honestly. It's really
Ken, you remember on Monday you showed some hand and there was some similar hand.
where I checked.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think I could check here. I
I
block
think
a lot. I block a lot.
check is here. It's okay
I
because
think it's better with a
solver-
club. I think it's better with a club to check.
Yes,
But,
I agree. I think we're checking with a club.
Okay.
I don't hate checking here some, and then you could delay C bet.
I think I have a problem with the
I think it's a range.
range.
I think ace 10-9 is a range bet against.
I
the lead.
always think that if they check twice, Maxi, right,
Yeah.
they probably haven't got it because they need to start building the pot if they have.
And when you check flop, he's gonna start calling you with tens. He's gonna continue with his draws.
Yeah. Yeah.
10 and I will call, so yeah,
Yeah.
we're bit now.
He checks
I should-
twice, you got to fire.
I should fire. And
Yeah,
now
because
definitely.
if he really had a hand, he's going to start to try to get value by the turn.
I mean, you
Yeah,
can even go
yeah.
for value still here. Like, he's not gonna believe you have anything.
Yeah, he's gonna call a 10 or 9
He
once.
just had nothing anyway.
Yeah, but the problem is if you're playing against a player who's aware, like when you check that flop and you bet the turn, I'm just gonna raise you with any kind of draws.
I don't know. I used to lacy bets quite often.
Yeah, but there are not a lot of players. that-
Especially when you check
There are
the
players that
flop
do it,
and you
yes.
bet small on the turn, I'm just check raising your ass.
Yeah,
I'm
but
still
you are-
calling,
I'm gonna
still
check,
calling.
I'm gonna check some strong hands today, so have fun.
Yeah, I'm still calling. I'm
A lot of,
protecting my
a lot
checking
of
range.
players are not aware, so
Okay. So I should yeah.
I might jam on
Should-
you indeed.
Yeah, the flop check is would be better with the club in our
You know
hand.
what? At the end of the day, it feels good to win queens with queens there when there's an ace on the flop. So
Yeah,
I'd be
yeah.
pretty
And
happy with that.
I don't hate the flop check. I mean, the hand doesn't need that much protection. And
Yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah,
block
it's nice
it.
to block- it's nice that you're blocking straights, you're blocking
What
draws.
is a range
I
bet
think
board?
like the solver would check the most with like kings and queens there, so it's fine.
I mean, I think you just open yourself up to being more bluffed and played back against when you check. But I mean, it's whatever. You could expect it if the player's aggressive, right?
This is a fold. The reason why it's a fold is because of the short stacks.
This one's yeah.
Just fold.
I think once you get down below 25 bigs effective, most of the smaller pairs from mid position are a fold or a jam, right?
Yeah,
Well,
I mean this
there-
guy has
No.
6% 3-bet and then he's running like 17-11. Forget it.
GTO sharps are still at from the late positions. Lowest pairs they are still opening.
I mean, you're supposed to call a 3-bet there.
15
honestly,
big blinds,
but
you're still opening.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Against this not 19 and 7 big blind effective. I don't think we are. I think we're folding, right?
Supposed to call here.
No, no,
He
it's
made
not.
it-
It's
He
against the odds.
he three bet a
like
little
the
large,
fold.
so I don't hate the fold because he went 7 bigs, right? So it's fine. But if
If
you
you're
guys
out of
like,
position, I
I
fold.
think we can make an exploitative fold because our
Yeah.
opponent has very little bluffs in his 3-bet range.
that's true
Yeah.
too. And he
Yeah.
went larger too.
And he's committed
got
to the
two-
big
two
blind and he
reasons to
jams,
fold.
so
You don't have
more
set
likely
line
to have a
and
hand.
off, so just fold.
Are we saying that we should open there then against the short stacks with the sixes?
Yeah,
Right.
the short stack you can call off.
Yeah, you could actually see bet that flop. I mean, he's gonna
Yeah.
have more sets probably. I don't think you're opening twos, maybe not fours, but I mean,
I can
it
get behind
misses
the check
him,
raise there
it
as
misses
well,
him.
right?
He's gonna still have overpairs in his range, like,
Yeah, I think you need to check raise.
Yeah,
that's good. That's good.
that's
Yeah, I
good
think you
play.
need to check raise here, yeah.
Ta-da!
It doesn't matter, keep betting, bet small.
I cannot.
No,
No, you
I would
can,
check.
because he still
Yeah,
have a bunch
yeah.
of pairs.
Yeah, this is a
They're gonna
mistake.
fold. The pairs are you're gonna get worse to fold now when the ace hits, right?
I have no excuses.
I don't mind the check on the turn.
And what now?
I like the call there.
No, you fool. You
Oh
block
my
the
god,
heart.
I'm sick.
You block miss bluff. This guy
But we,
always
but
has
by
the ace.
check,
Why do you
by
think he
checking
checks
the
back on
turn,
the
we do
turn?
keep him in with.
So he's
bluffs
got
as
like
well.
ace two, ace six, ace four suited, right? Maybe like you probably shouldn't have them. Let me think. He should really, I guess he has some. It's gross.
There's two combos of
Cut
ace
sets.
suited. Two
By
combos of-
checking though, you kept him in with his bluffs, if he's got many.
This guy's a nit. When he sees an ace, he's the happiest kid on the table.
Yeah, but he didn't
Right.
bet the turn, so he wasn't happy.
What aces is he calling a check raise
Like,
with,
I would
Mike?
be very suspicious here because
I mean,
he doesn't
also
have an
had
ace.
call
He's
off
not
most
gonna
of the
call
time.
you with an ace. He doesn't have ace king because he would have 3-bet you pre-flop, so the ace is irrelevant. But when you don't bet the turn, he has a bunch of like jacks, tens, nines, eights, sevens that would call your check raise on the flop. So,
But he's
I mean,
also,
you just-
in this case,
Yeah,
he
but-
would be scared of ace
Yeah, but
also.
doesn't he just want to show down with those? I
Yeah,
think-
but you check twice to him.
He's probably
So
got six.
what he's saying is, I flop a set and I didn't bet the turn, so that's why
Yeah.
I'm gonna be very suspicious.
He ain't
Or I
even frightened of the ace.
river a set of eights.
I mean, I would have just c-bet flop, honestly. When if he raises with his nines and tens, we're just gonna get it in and then we're done. I'd like to see this in the solver, because I don't really, guys played, I wouldn't know what to do on an ace. I wouldn't bet. If you all say
I
to
don't
bet,
think we
I
need a
think
solver
I
for
gotta
this.
learn it.
No, I could check turn. That's,
I would
no
easily
call, but I
fold
would-
here,
I
but
would
the
call
thing
on
is, we
river.
need
Yeah.
to bet, call it off on the flop.
So
Mhm.
are you pretty much losing to an ace and a set of eights and nothing else, pretty much?
No, a set of eights. He
Pocket
doesn't have
four,
any
pocket
ace
six,
unless it's like ace six
pocket
suited,
deuce.
something like that.
Well, he could have eights. He could call a check raise with it.
That's what I
Yeah,
mean,
he
like,
will
you're not
have
losing to a
eights. He
set of
will
deuces,
have a
six,
set
or
of
fours.
eights. He will have a set of fours, sixes, and deuces would play in a similar manner.
Yeah.
And I don't think
I
they're gonna
honestly
bluff
think
here,
these
so
tight players
it-
just get it in right away with the set on the
Yeah.
flop.
I think if he has pocket tens, pocket jacks here, he would just check back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like he should bluff like pocket fives, pocket sevens, but I don't think they're gonna do that.
Because the ace should be a scare card for him and it's not.
He should be
And we know he's
bluffing
nitty.
hearts here. That's what he should bluff. Backdoor hearts that missed, like 5-7 of hearts. If he ever.
Ace is
got that.
irrelevant, like it's a blank pretty much, given the
I
actual
disagree
result.
because he's gonna bet ace king and call off the raise.
He doesn't have ace king.
He's gonna have
would
ace
3-bet
queen, he's
ace
gonna have ace jack.
Good.
Definitely
Ace
could
ten,
have.
Yeah.
Louis, if he's gonna,
Good.
if he's gonna bet, if he's gonna bluff the backdoor heart, shouldn't he also bluff backdoor clubs and backdoor spades?
No, because that misses, so we cannot continue from the turn. He only continues since he
But he
picked up
didn't, but he
equity.
didn't, we didn't bet the turn.
Turn and
Turn,
check, check.
Yeah, but but it's still in range, right?
I-
So like, he doesn't know how to play them. He should bet them.
I'm confused, Louis. Why are the hearts different than the spades and clubs?
But because he's never gonna bet them on the turn. Right?
Right, but he didn't bet the turn.
I know he did not. But-
So he's gonna have hearts.
So for me,
Um,
the hands he should bluff on the river should be hearts. Because it's like bluffs that pick up the equity on the turn that miss the river.
But why does the?
so you
equity-
pick up equity, you don't mind checking back some of your really good flushes on the flush draws on the river on the turn because you're in position.
That's it.
But
Like, to
I'm
me, he
not
should have bet the
understanding-
turn. He should have
I'm
bet the turn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure,
You
bet-
did
I-
say
bet
he
small,
was-
bet
you
small
did
the
say he
turn.
was, you did say he was nitty though, Louis, right? So if he's nitty, he's not worried about this ace.
Exactly.
But I'm still confused, Louis, on this. If there was a bet on the turn, I understand why the suit matters.
Yeah.
I don't understand when it went check, check.
I know.
Can we
That
see it in the
he
solver?
still keeps all his clubs, all his spades, all of them. But for me, it's just, I'm trying to lean towards emotion, and the emotion is on this turn. You should blast the river with some part of your range. Whether
Right.
you know how to bet the turn or not, that's, up to the opponent. But what I'm trying to say is that there's a general motion here that he should be bluffing with this size, with like hands that missed. Like his worst
Yeah,
bluffs.
but he's a nit. He's not calling a check raise with a hand that missed, I doubt, is he?
See,
Unless he's sat there with pocket fives.
You gotta
I
lean
mean,
on the theory. Louis is right here, okay? So you put your own implicit biases in when you say things like, I don't think he's doing this because he's that. Unless you like 100% know how every person who has that player archetype does things, that's just, it's convoluting information. It doesn't mean anything.
Well-
Louis is pointing at the sim. He's saying the sim does this in this situation. So if he's aware, he should be bluffing these combos. It's the only mathematical baseline that there is.
right.
Okay.
So he could have a miss. He could have a miss.
So like
draw.
6-5 of hearts might be really nice to do with that, but there too.
Yeah,
Correct.
I mean,
Yeah.
what hands exactly besides kings are we check raising the flop on? That he might know that we're doing that on.
two
You have
over
to
and a
look at the
backdoor
sim
flush
and see
draw.
what past combos.
Can't you pull the sim up?
Yeah, go back.
I'd love to see it, actually. I mean, I believe
So-
everything you're saying.
There's another way to look at
Blue
this.
jack.
I'm curious about how we're supposed to play the turn, honestly, because
Do you
I
think-
was lost.
Can I just
Louis,
say one other
can
thing?
you
I
show the
think
screen
we
at
should
the
have.
same?
I think we should have probably just opened jammed here anyway. Looking at
Nah,
what's in the pot.
Are you crazy?
Oh,
no way.
I think it's a good play.
I think we should, I would have liked to see bet there. I think we can, but I'm not sure because we're out of position and I would
Because
think
he's
I
calling
would
you
have,
with all the other overpairs.
I had no idea what to do on a turn, honestly, so.
But if
You jam here, he's calling you with everything. With any other pair.
Or with the
He
nuts.
isn't.
We
Okay,
don't have any open jams over 15 bigs here.
yeah.
But isn't he three betting most
No,
pairs
I
like
think he's
nines
saying-
up?
I think he's saying check jam the flop.
Yes,
Oh.
check jam here. He's
Nah.
calling off with
No.
everything like sevens plus.
Oh, he's only gonna call you when you're, he's only gonna call you with sets.
He's gonna call
I
you with
wouldn't
all his
call it
overpairs.
sevens.
Yeah, I think most of the players with overpairs
wouldn't
are
go
gonna
with
get it in
sevens here,
themselves
yeah.
there. When we check raise, I think they're mostly just gonna wanna jam their like nines and tens.
He's never folding tens, nines, queens, jacks, any of that. He's
doesn't
not
I don't think
folding.
they're, I don't think they're calling a check raise. I think they're just gonna rip it.
So basically,
you
you
want-
should call
you want him
down
to-
next hand, please.
Yeah, you want him to rip at night. Yeah.
Before we go on, one more thing about this hand. As played, we don't play, do we play any aces that way? If we don't, then we might have to call with the kings because otherwise we're folding our entire range on the river.
Alright, so the
we
sim is
don't have-
surprising here a little bit.
Let's
Let's see
see
it.
it. This was an interesting hand. I like to really see it.
So this is our flop range.
So we do check, almost everything.
Yeah,
Yep, then he bets.
and
I know
then
we're checking a lot. I thought on that texture, we'd have more C bets, to be honest.
look
You
at
go all
this.
in.
Yeah,
He bets, we raise the kings.
we check if he bets because
Yeah, which he
that's
did.
only 60% of the time. Does he? He does?
Yeah, he bets.
What is this size here?
It's 90, it's the second one, I think.
91.
How come some of the
There's no
colors are,
66.
how come some of the raises are left to right and some are top to bottom? What does that mean?
The colors are, I don't understand your question.
Yeah, the colors somewhere.
The colors are
Oh, that was,
giving
that
indication
was,
of,
it was showing you the next step.
It
was
looks
yeah.
like it looks like we click it.
Yeah, we raise 3x.
yeah, he raised.
Actually, that's-
Fine.
He check raised.
So we
that's
check
not good
raise.
play.
Right, then the turn,
They call.
then ace of hearts.
Now we
I think they
check. Very good
Okay.
play, Max.
Makes sense. I mean, I thought we would. But a lot of people wanted to bet. I wasn't sure.
And then the river.
What was the river?
It was a brick.
Yeah.
An
I
eight,
forget what it was, but it was a
offsuit
brick.
eight.
8 of
Yeah,
diamonds.
Eight of diamonds.
Yeah, spades are diamonds, doesn't matter that much.
Now we're
There
blood
we go.
betting with kings.
We're block betting. That makes sense.
Alright,
Okay.
I should block
Oh, we
bet.
can get
And then
called
what do
by
we
a
do
lot.
when they raise? We're done, right? Like,
but
what do we gotta?
let's take our
we can
sliver of
fold.
check and see what we do.
This stuff. We're folding the kings.
Alright,
And we fold when we block bet, they raise as well, mostly.
Mixing,
Yeah, the hearts do the worst. Well,
That's
we don't
weird.
wanna have a heart to call. It makes a little bit more, so.
Yeah, yes.
'Cause he's gonna have bluffs, like LP says, bluffs are coming from hearts. That's why
So we
that's
should
why
have
the
blocked
king of
bet,
hearts
we
is a
should
little
have blocked
better.
bet the river and folded to a jam then, basically.
Yeah, that would have been a good
Yeah.
play. That would have been a good play
Yeah.
by how this line played out. How many aces does he actually play that way?
Yeah, I was curious how many, where his bluffs
Check
are. I
folding
think-
is not that
I
bad
think they
then.
are indeed gonna be hearts, as LP said. I think even the 6, if he has 6-5 in his range.
So when there's a
he's gonna
flush,
have it.
so you don't
Louis,
want to
let's
have,
take a look. Does he actually bluff the hearts more than the spades in the clubs like we thought?
He's bluffing 5s.
Yeah.
Max
because
played
it's
it
a bit
perfect.
Yeah, he should be
open-ended.
bluffing
Well,
like
gut
lower
shot.
pairs.
Yeah, open-ended.
And he's bluffing hearts, right?
Mhm.
the low ones.
The lower.
Yeah, basically, we allowed
Take a
him
look
to
at that,
jam
take
on
a look at that
us.
same thing in spades. Just so,
We allowed him to put us on the
no,
back
he bluffs
foot.
the spade, he bluffs some of the spades too.
Yeah, he's just bluffing queen high and king high.
Yeah, that's
right?
what I thought. That's what I was
Yep.
thinking. is
And
that-
5s.
It's bluffing
Yeah.
clubs the most.
As if the villain has those.
He's trying to get us off a 6 or a 4.
Well, he's definitely gonna have 5s, cuz that's he's gonna continue on the flop with pocket 5s, I think, for sure. So that's a nice
Yeah,
bluff.
But
That's a
then he
nice
could
bluff.
still, he could bluff the river though, right?
Mm.
For sure, like he did.
Alright,
Yeah, blocking both sides
Yeah,
of the
but yes,
straight.
block bet, you need to
either.
either bet the turn, but it was mostly checking turn, right?
Yeah,
But
the turn was pure
if you
check.
check turn, you need to block bet river. Block bet
All
fold.
right. Okay, yeah, I should block.
I don't think the play was that bad. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I think this was a fine hand.
Yeah.
so with kings, you should bet the river there so you won't get jammed on.
Yeah.
No.
So if you do, well, it's easy to play.
That's small and fold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you have to have the discipline to fold, to Bert.
And you have to remember to have some strong hands in your block bet range, so they can't run you over every time you do it.
Should I complete this? I think I should.
Jack,
I don't think
and
so.
four.
I fold.
Oh, I like this fold.
I like folding here.
Yeah, but when you block bet those kings, the nit's never gonna raise you with a bluff on the river. Right? He's only
Maybe,
gonna
maybe
call.
Most
Maybe,
likely
maybe
not.
not.
If you define a nit that he doesn't raise, yes, then you're correct.
Like that guy
Yeah.
only has,
That's
that
your
guy only
definition
has,
of a nit, yeah, then of course.
that guy only has straights that are raising the river, right? Like with a set, he's just gonna call.
He's still
But
going to
on
call you
most
with a lot
plays,
of
we
the
don't
worst
have
hands,
enough
hopefully.
hands to know if he does that or not.
Hopefully you
Check.
pick up 33% more value as well, and he calls you with jack.
I think it's a
Jack
pretty
fold.
easy raise with, I think it's a pretty easy raise with a set even for a nit, and I'm a nit.
Yep.
Because the straight was a deuce 4, and you don't have deuce 4 in your opening range.
No,
Jack 4 is a call hill.
Ew, yeah.
Yeah, but you could base that on the player type, couldn't you? If this guy, you know, he's raising all the time, you may as well fold.
Okay.
And Ken, what were
Yeah,
you
but you
saying
don't
about,
know, that's the problem.
so can you, when the flush draws,
Don't
like when,
have
you
enough
don't,
hands.
when you have one of the cards to complete a flush, is it less likely a call or more likely a call?
You mean with which hand?
Like there's 2 hearts and you have 1 heart in your hand and it does not complete on the river, whatever, and you have that heart. What does that mean?
You mean with the kings?
Yeah, it's less likely for your opponent to have a flush draw. Or vice versa, more likely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
we block some bluffs with the heart.
Okay. It's harder to call off, basically, is what it is.
Yeah.
It's fold. Shit.
But that honestly wasn't super relevant in that hand, but it's.
Right. Most people don't bluff anyways enough, so it's
Yeah.
not, it shouldn't be a thing.
We're
This is a
supposed to, I
tough
think,
one.
probably jam this.
Yeah,
Oh. So
this guy's been
is a
limping
jam.
a lot. This guy's been limping a lot anyway. And, you know, this free, when you stack that,
You have 50 hands. But he's
I
limping
don't
a
think
lot.
it's.
You only have 50 hands.
I mean, if I had like 10-3, I went over to the 9 to jam that, to be honest.
Right.
And
Makes
what are you
sense.
doing with it? Are
We
you
don't have any
calling?
diamonds. We don't have any other draws. We just have a three. We like to have an overcard to be able to suck out if they have a better hand.
So
Makes
what's the plan
sense,
there?
Ken.
Are you just folding your pair?
Yeah, I think on that with the three, what do we have? 3-8 there or something? I think I am, yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
bottom
Does the
pair.
overcard really mean that much when you've already have the pair? Because
Well,
you hit
it
your
does
eight,
if he
you carry
has,
your three, it's trips.
The
We
eight
can
is
suck
good,
out.
huh?
but if he has a pair of nines or tens, jacks, queens, kings, aces, we can call him when we make two pair and we have extra outs.
Yeah, but
No, but
you have that with the 8 also.
What's our extra
Leave
out, what's
some.
our extra out of 10-3 compared to 8-3?
But I rather
No,
have
I
three
think it
fold.
doesn't matter a lot. It's just
What
folding
he's,
bottom,
what he's
bottom
saying
pair.
is if he limped with king nine, if a 10 comes, we smash the 9 then.
Yeah, but if an 8
But
comes,
we
if
don't
you have
care
the
because
8,
we've got,
then we also
we've got
smash
two
the
pairs.
board.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why Ken's saying if you've got the overcard to the to the
No, you
9
don't
on the
need the
board.
The overcard, the overcard is worse because if the 10 comes, he's now afraid with his 9. If the 8 comes, he's still confident with his 9.
No, with the jam we're talking about. Like if you wanted a jam there, Ken's saying he would do it with a 10.
Why?
Because we can
difference.
suck out on the guy.
We get
Yeah,
the same
because-
suck out. It's 5 outs against a 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know where you're coming from, but it's an overcard, isn't it?
So what?
No, it doesn't matter if you have a
It
pair.
matters if the overcard matters if instead of having a 3 here, we have the 5 of diamonds.
Doesn't matter much, actually.
It doesn't matter much.
I think what they're saying is they just want to be able to turn a top pair
10.
kind of.
Why? Who cares?
You turn 2 pair, eh, Galen, not
Right.
a top pair.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
doesn't
it's no
matter.
different. It's not a lot of difference because, like you say, if you turn an 8, you turn 2 pair.
I think when you're looking at like combos for your entire range, I think he's
If
just
rather
saying like,
3-5.
some of the check raising combos, you want to have an overcard. I agree. When you have bottom pair, I don't think it's too relevant.
Yeah, you want to have 5-10 with a diamond rather than 5-8 with a diamond. I totally buy that.
Yeah.
But once you have a 3, they don't matter. And if you're not jamming it, you'd rather have an 8 than a 10.
Yeah, and you're out of position and you're shadow stacked.
I agree with that.
Can I see the solver solution, please?
You'd rather
Yes.
have an 8. You'd rather have an 8 than a 10. You say.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
if you're not
actually
jamming
all
and
in here
raising,
every
yeah,
time.
yeah,
so
absolutely.
I'd like to see.
you have to treat
Why is
this as
that?
a,
Because
min
he's
raise.
less likely to have an 8.
No, not because of that. Because let's say that you decide to call that hand. And the 8 comes on the turn. You will now stack a 9 with your 3-8. Let's say you have the 3-10 and the 10 comes on the turn. You will not stack a 9 because he's afraid of a 10. He's not afraid of an 8.
True.
Right.
I don't have the same for
I just think if I'm getting in with
10.
bottom pair, I want some kind of extra redraw.
No, I agree, Ken, but a 10 isn't an extra redraw.
I like that
No,
explanation.
I
to
understand,
be
Josh, I'm
honest.
not arguing. You made sense with, it
Okay,
doesn't
no, shut
matter
up.
what our
Okay.
extra pair out is. But I think with the bottom pair, I do want some kind of extra out.
I'm fine with that. Yeah. Yeah, we want to have we'd like to have a diamond before it goes.
I mean, at least the 4 can be ahead of ace-3 suited, at least, like it's ahead of something.
Or a
I
3-6.
guess like my idea with conventional wisdom is when you're like sub 20 or 30 big blinds, somewhere in there, there's a transition where you kind of play a pair game, right? You don't really care
Yeah.
about draws and things like that. So I think like when you're down to below 15, 10 big blinds or so,
This stack.
Any
you're
pair,
probably
right?
supposed to just go with these things. But the fact that he limped under the gun, I mean, you don't really lose anything other than your blind, which changes the dynamic a little bit, I think.
Oh, he limped?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
I didn't even
He
know.
only limps, huh?
like a sim of 15 effective or something, it would be kind of interesting to see what the response.
Doesn't
Would
that
be
polarize his
good.
range? Okay, he could have a
Doesn't
lot of
matter.
ace X suited here, right? I mean,
Well, he's a limper, right? Is he your constant limper? What's his VPIP? And then
Not constant, but we only have 50 hands, so it's not a lot to go on.
Yeah,
But
Jonathan
still,
Little
we
might-
already can see.
I mean, when it's
A lot
9
of
to
players would
28, you
ship
have
it.
an inkling.
I think a lot of
So
players
is it-
would ship it on this board.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think,
that's the other thing is just simply at 11 big blinds, you have a pair.
Yeah,
Right.
and what's the
Bottom
chance?
pair.
What's the
I
chance
just
he's
stopped
hit this?
thinking.
You're
I'm
guessing
still
it.
not sure if a pair as bad as a 3 plays that way. That's like, I'm a
I don't know
little
either.
confused. I know any pair almost is good, but I'm not so sure like a pair of 3s fits in there.
Is he limping with any 3s or 4s? No, but he could be limping with something with a 9 maybe.
Give me a
Yeah.
sec. I'm gonna close some of my
Of course he
tables.
can.
I've got this sim. I know I have this sim if we treat it
Okay.
as an open.
He could have king 9, ace 9 very easily.
But we're not. He didn't open his limp.
The open is
Suited
so different
nines.
than the limp.
Okay.
Suited 9s
Yeah.
possibly, huh?
I mean, he
Yeah.
should never be limping. There's 82 big blind stack with a button. So he really shouldn't be.
He should not be limping ace 9, king 9, right? He should be opening them.
So low
I like to
GP.
think we're
I
playing
think
for
he-
it at
I
the
don't think he
moment.
should be limping anything.
He don't know what
So
he
I
does.
wanna look at, I got a 15 effective sim and I've got a 10 effective sim.
That's it.
This. So we're just gonna assume that he min raises and we flat the button. And
But
what's our
it's-
flop? It's like 9-4-3 or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
9-4-3.
9-4-3 2-tone. We have
Oh.
neither, we have the spade of the one.
So I've got 9-4-3 rainbow and then I've got 9-4 deuce. So.
Rainbow.
Yeah. I guess we
9-4
can do
deuce is okay.
9-4 deuce, same thing.
6-5 doesn't play that much for the.
We can look at both of them. So like, 9-4-3 rainbow, we do have some leading, but I mean, it's a small component. It's really just a check. He should be range betting small nearly. Well, not range betting, but 65%. He bets a lot. And
But he's limp. This is the difference here.
Well, we're just trying to get an idea.
Yeah, just
right,
an idea.
right.
Not a
So
big
we're trying
difference.
to have an understanding of how you play a 3 here. Versus.
But if he raised, you would have to put him on more cards that possibly were ahead of the
Well, if
board.
he raised, we wouldn't be in with this hand. That's one thing.
No,
Yeah.
he only
Yeah.
has a VPIP of 28, so he is not that aggressive. Limper.
No.
That's what makes this even more annoying. If he raised, we wouldn't even be in this spot.
Right.
I like the
remember,
look of the 3 myself.
This is why limpers tilt me.
So off 15, we're never folding a 3, never folding a combo of 3s, and we're raising some of the weaker ones.
We're raising what?
The weaker ones.
Sorry,
flop-
some
on
of
the
the
flop.
weaker ones that interact with the 4 and the 3.
So like have straight
7,
redraws, right?
The 5 or the
Right,
7
so-
or 6.
5-3, 5-3's raising,
Yeah.
7-3's doing some raising.
6-3, 3-2. We don't
Yeah,
have
yep,
3-2. Yeah.
yeah, well, the suited
When you
combo.
say
3-2
raising, are we talking about jamming then?
All in, yeah.
No, this is,
No?
a lot of these combos are just basically clicking it back. It's the
Wow.
highest DV. Now.
How about
there
fours? Are fours just check jamming? Like if we have
Fours
like,
are 100% calling. They're just calling.
wow.
They are too good.
Yeah, but
Right.
why are we not giving these hands any protection? Because of our stack depth, we don't care if they river the king or whatever.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what it's going off of. Is it doesn't matter. You have a pair, your chips.
And we're
are
calling
going
down.
to the center.
I would
Yeah,
have thought, I would have thought we'd try to clean up equity with like a pair of fours, maybe.
We're trying to induce.
Calling with the 4,
Yeah,
raising.
you have to protect your checking range with something, Ken.
Well,
where it
I'm
gets kinda
not, I
goofy
wasn't
is,
jamming
like,
threes.
You have to try to construct this guy's, you have to try
The
to
4 is
construct
better.
his thinking range.
Check your check range.
So,
Are we jamming nines?
I
9-8,
just had
9,
to,
10-9, huh?
I had to close Pio. ACR gave me the warning, so.
Oh,
With this stack to pot ratio, I can't understand why we're calling down. I thought we'd be doing a bit more protection.
we're gonna fold a lot of turns, I think, when that overcard comes, if we're playing it that way.
Yeah, but there's always protecting your checking range, protecting your betting range, etc., etc.
That's also a smidge deeper too. That was 15 effective.
Yeah.
I would have thought shallow. We get.
But
I mean,
the
I've heard Jonathan Little say we ship it in with bottom pair in a lot of spots. Surely this would be one of
Yeah.
them spots against his limper.
Could be.
Yeah.
The
Check raise all
SPR
in.
is similar though, right, Galen?
I'm sorry?
The SPR is similar though,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you might see some more aggressive just action on the flop if it was a little bit shorter, but
Right.
I mean,
You don't fold.
fact-
That's the
yeah,
thing
that's
you
the
know.
takeaway right there is you need to continue.
So I should shove over.
You can
I'd be
min
going
raise,
all
you
in
can
here, I think.
call, but don't fold.
Against the limper. In this spot, I should call.
No, it would be against the raise.
What would you be doing, Louis? Because you've gone quiet.
Well, I would just call here.
Right.
Call seems good.
I mean, the
I
way
don't hate
to,
jamming either.
if you wanted to run this in a sim, the way to do it would be to give us, and you only have a and you want to fake his raise, give us 3/8 suited and have our suit miss.
Yeah, Scott, but what you see here is that
Changes too much.
3-5
yeah,
is better,
I-
3-6 is better, and 3 deuce is better to raise than 3-8.
Okay.
So his range here is extremely polarized, right? Because
Because then you have extra outs.
I mean, I knew I wanted some connectivity, or I thought an overcard as well. I don't know if that's relevant, but yeah, I think I'm okay here. I would
You can't
have
fold. You
folded. I would have
can't fold
folded this
the hand.
hand. I would have folded though, to be honest.
Yeah.
Would you fold here? I never fold here.
I think that's really tight. The guy limps in and then makes a bet. And we've got a pair.
Yeah.
That's too nitty.
Anyway, I'm leaving. See you guys.
Yeah.
Bye, Josh.
Bye,
Later,
Josh.
Josh. Yeah,
Thanks
he's-
a lot,
he's-
Josh.
but I didn't voluntarily put any money in the pot, so I don't give a shit. He can have it.
Would like to know the value frequency between limp bets and raise bets continuation flop.
You just should never limp.
Right.
Right.
But for the opponent. Right.
What about here? Are we shy?
Open rip it. Got an ace.
Yeah. I should shove.
Oh. Got an ace.
Yeah, I know. No excuses more.
Louis, any
Oh.
should you limp in cash games? Yes or no?
Never.
Same. Okay.
In a cash game, you can have a limp, you can have a small blind limp strategy if you want, and you don't need one.
I thought the small blind never limped because of rake.
You can do it even with the rake.
Wow.
You can do that wider small blind limp strategy, you know. But you don't, but the advantage of it, the equity advantage compared to the complexity is probably not worth it. If you're a tournament player who already has that in your game, you can move that to your cash game, but there are no open limps in cash games.
All right.
GTO.
From the small blind.
Except for small blind.
From
Anywhere.
from any position except the small blind, and you don't, and it's optional to have a limping strategy in the small blind.
Doesn't matter.
Is
if
it
the
better
whole-
not to have?
Uh,
Or is it 50-50?
It's better to, if you can execute, okay, mathematically, it's better to have a limping strategy in the small blind, but you have to execute it perfectly. If you're gonna
Yeah.
execute it wrong, don't do it. And I'm talking
Yeah,
about,
I think
that's
yeah.
smart.
I think it comes down to exploits, whether the big blind especially is overly aggressive and is going to continuation bet on almost any flop. Kind of thing.
well, if the big blind is raising, if the big blind raises all your limps, then you should have a completely different limping strategy.
Right, a strong limping range.
You should limp only your best hands, fold everything else, and always limp raising. I mean,
Exactly, yeah.
but that's a super exploit.
Yeah. Well, it's like you said, there's always an exception to the rule. Like Louis says, never limp. But if you knew for a fact people were going to start raising, if you did limp, you're going to.
Right, I mean,
You know, with a monster.
Yeah.
You can start trapping aces and kings. You're right. Like
Yeah,
say the
you're
whole
gonna.
table
If
is
you,
aggressive.
if you know people are going to come over the top for sure because they're maniacs, then you're just going to do it, aren't you?
Yeah.
But then you know, if you never limp and then a limp is gonna signify a red flag, just like Vivian said earlier, then
Well, then you
kind of
wouldn't do
like-
it.
well, yeah, then you never limp.
No.
I mean, we were talking earlier about small blind versus big blind, how you have to have some limps, so that's a good one too.
Well, you got to, because you got to have some limp re-raises. So you have to have some.
Yeah, that's what I meant, limp re-raises.
Limp call, limp raise, limp call a lot of the suited stuff, limp raise some stuff, limp fold some stuff.
Yeah.
Hard. Takes a lot of hands.
Mix it up.
Don't listen to Barry, don't limp.
I don't limp very. I hardly ever limp, Louis.
I,
But I will- I
I
will
was
find
yelling
top-
that, I was on mute.
Okay.
Oh,
Sometimes I've been known to
rip
limp
it.
along with the limpers. I limp along with my deuces with the rest of the limpers. If it's that kind of table.
I try to avoid limping as much as I can, but I have, not gonna lie, I do limp some.
So if you've got 4 limpers then,
Limp
and you're in
behind,
the
almost
cutoff, you're
8%.
telling me you're not limping in with your 2s and 3s.
I over limp almost 8%.
What I'm saying, Barry, you can do whatever you want, but.
Would you rate, what would you
for the
do then,
most-
Louis? Would you raise 6x or 7x with your 2s in the cutoff?
No, he's not talking about that. We're
I'm
talking. he's talking about
saying,
different things.
for most people, they should avoid it completely.
For sure.
If
Fuck
it's
it.
you or
That's
me,
for the-
Barry, we've been
that's
playing
for-
poker for a
that's for the-
couple of years. If you wanna limp
that's for
back
the
with your
recording.
deuces, I mean,
That's for
But
the
on the-
recording, no limping.
I
yeah,
think you guys are talking about two different things.
yeah.
When we say no limping, we mean no open limping. We don't mean no limping after limpers.
Yeah, no limping.
That's
There
right.
are definitely hands in GTO where if they've made the mistake to limp, you should limp behind them.
Sure.
And the
Would be
more
the first one.
multi-way, the more that makes sense.
It's even good. It's even better to get heads up anyway with 2s.
I still
You got
barely
more
over
chance
limp.
of winning with 2s heads up.
No, because imagine you've got pocket 2s on the buttons and there's a bunch of limpers in front of you. If you raise and get re-raised and have to fold it, that's a huge disaster.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you limp and get raised, you can call and still have the odds to set line.
Yeah, sometimes.
If
Yeah,
you've got
I
5
agree, yeah.
limpers, then I've just got a question for you. I want to see what everyone says on this. If you've got 5 limpers and you wake up in the cutoff with a pair, when do you make it 7x? Where are you drawing the line?
I mean, it depends on the effective
Nines.
stack. Sometimes I'm jamming, sometimes I'm raising.
No, what I'm saying,
Sometimes
if
I'm
you're in a cash
over-limping.
game and you're on 100 bigs and everyone limps and you wake up in the cutoff with a pair, what's the minimum pair you're making it 7x?
Nines.
9s.
I think that's a good, yeah, good way to put it. 8s, 9s.
I don't know. don't play
I
enough
think
games.
I'm limping with nines.
Okay. But you're raising
Where are you
tens, right,
raising
Louis?
then, Louis?
Tens.
Yeah, you're raising tens.
Maybe,
Maybe.
You're limping behind with tens? Right. So
because the
so there's
whole
your
idea
eights,
with
nines,
these
tens,
kind of pairs,
somewhere in
you
there.
want everyone in the pot and you want to hit your card. So
Yeah.
what
With
I
tens?
usually do, whatever, if I face a bunch of limpers, I don't mind because I'm gonna make it $7. Like in a
Yeah.
1-2 cash game live, in the 9 max
quick
table, and
question.
everyone's gonna call and we're gonna play for a monster pot right off the bat.
You
gonna
might
be like-
quadruple up.
It's gonna be like
400
it's gonna be $60 on flop and everyone is gonna want the pot, so.
And you got top set.
We're gonna, yeah,
Yeah, I'm calling sometimes, raising sometimes, but calling more often.
They would never see it coming though, would they? Let's face it, if you linked with your 10s and someone pocket 8s and pocket 5s, you get them both.
yeah.
So he's turn another 5 or 8.
In your game.
Alright,
Quick question, though, this
new
might-
end,
Yeah. okay.
I have one more question regarding limping 10s. I mean, you're limping and there's 5 limpers in front of you with 10s. I mean, can't you assume that they have a lot of 10s? Or just a lot of pairs that would have a 10? I don't know.
You lost your connection.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I said, can't you assume that they have a lot of hands containing a 10 in their limping range?
They could have
They got a lot
anything,
of-
these
A
limpers.
lot of junk.
no, I don't mind that. I mean, I will probably squeeze a little bit, but it's not gonna be a big squeeze. I want everyone to call and we see a flop and with 10s or lower at 100 big blinds deep, I just wanna hit it. And if I hit it, well, perfect. I'm not gonna play for the 1 pair value. Gonna need
Yeah.
to make a straight
makes
with
sense.
it or like a set or a full house or quad.
Makes sense.
And then usually what I'm gonna do if I make my set on the flop, I'm gonna try to keep the betting rounds kind of small. Gonna find my way I'm gonna make sure to be all in on the river somehow. So yeah. New hand, Maxi?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I didn't see your double up.
It was a6 call.
Oh,
against
right, queen eight or
Russia.
something. Yeah,
Yeah.
If you're playing against me, Louis, you don't need to worry if a 10 comes on the flop that I've hit a set.
Okay. I don't think I could make much with you anyway, Scotty, so. Like you'd be on my table, I don't think we would collide very much.
I would fold, I would fold this.
Yeah, yeah.
LP's opening it.
My Zoom is acting up, so I'll have to. I don't know.
Yeah, what do you mean by acting?